Hi, lovers. You're welcome back to Tiwa Says, and today we're going to be discussing, excuse my French, a very interesting and controversial topic. We're talking about trauma as it regards to relationship, as it affects relationship, the effect of trauma in relationships. And as usual, I have guests in the house, and my regular guest, but I have a special guest who is going to be adding juice to this discussion today. So let's meet my special guest first before you meet my skenewen. So doctor, let's meet you.
So I'm Dr. Orafu,
Hmm.
and
Can you feel that
it
voice?
feels good to be here today.
Okay. You feel that voice? It's not the ugly. Let's hear you. Let's hear you. Yes, we are sick. He's intimidated, guys. He's intimidated.
I'm still your favorite boy. I know you guys already know. And you're used to this voice. You're used to this face. You're used to this me. So, Dr. Rafu cannot be ugly. And the ugly cannot be Dr. Rafu. So, I know your favorite boy.
Again.
The ugly.
Skenewen. And my delectable feminine do the rest.
Hi guys, it's Amarachi. Hi.
Okay, so like I said, we're going to be talking about trauma today and how it affects relationship. It's actually a very exhaustive topic, and I hope we'll be able to do justice to it today. So my understanding of what trauma is, basically my own understanding, I think trauma is those things that happen to us, or happen to, like I said, experiences that we have or we get sometimes from childhood, things that happen to us, things that someone did to us, all those things that really had an effect on us, and as a result makes us to act in certain ways, as adults. And sometimes those things can be good and can be, in fact, it's bad. When it's trauma, it is bad. It's no longer good. So I think that is my own definition of trauma. And like I said, some people are even still experiencing the trauma now. So you can imagine, it's not that it's from childhood. So don't get me wrong, the trauma is not only childhood experiences. Some people experience trauma as adults. And sometimes it doesn't even matter how long you've had the experience. Trauma is trauma. Anything that affects you, strongly, that affects your mental health, or that just has an effect on you, whether it's shock or anything, is trauma. Doctor, what do you say?
Like you rightly said, trauma basically is it's not a pleasant experience.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say events, actions of others done on you.
Exactly.
So it's not black and white. Let's say it's entirely different from, let's say, what I do to you. That might be traumatic, might not be the same thing to her. Probably you fancy that, she might not fancy that. So like it's basically an unpleasant action done towards a particular person, or an unpleasant event that occurs that actually alters, let's say, behaviors or reaction of a particular person towards a particular situation. So yeah.
The ugly.
Like they all said, trauma for me is the effect of other people's behavior on other people. In other words, like the effect of my behavior on Choma Chuka over there. That's trauma for me.
Okay, you said me. I like country. I like it.
You love me, though. It's love.
You say it's the effect of what somebody else does. Sometimes it might not be somebody else per se.
Well,
It might be an event.
It
doesn't have to be like I slap you are traumatized.
It takes two to have trauma. You cannot just wake up in the morning and have trauma.
It could be a plane crash.
Oh yeah, there's somebody controlling the plane crash.
Oh
That's
really?
Not the person that caused the trauma.
That's exactly. It's not the pilot. It's the situation that caused
Alright,
the event.
thank you very much. That's what I think about trauma. I'm not arguing with these ladies today. No.
The virus hear you.
Well, everybody has said what trauma is. It is a situation, an event, or a person that has done something harmful to you that changes the way you see things or affects you mentally, and then over the years you're constantly thinking, constantly replaying that unfair act that was taken out against you?
Okay, so that's basically what trauma is. So what kind of trauma are there really? Because I even have a feeling that there are some type of trauma that have not even been
Discovered.
not only discovered, that have not been what's the word, determined or given names to. Because trauma is just, I don't understand. What are some traumas that you know?
I think the only one coming to my head now is mental trauma.
I think
there are
all
emotional
trauma
traumas as well.
starts from mental. It's mental that
I
affects
think there are
everything.
emotional traumas as well.
Mm-hmm.
These are the two. No, ask the doctor, please. I
Doctor.
don't know much.
Ask the doctor.
It's
the
not my
okay.
field of specialty, but like as regards the topic, like our construct today, like I think it comes, or the major kind of trauma we'll be talking about today should be emotional trauma.
Emotional
As
and mental.
regards
Well,
relationship. So like I think emotions and mentality, like they go like
mental
hand in
health,
hand.
because
So,
it's your mental that
yeah.
affects your. Okay, that's true. The ugly.
Well, I'll say childhood trauma, because I mean that's like a major role or a major trauma that a lot of people don't really talk about. A lot of people had crazy experience being children, so they grow up with this trauma and then why the world we live in today. So I would say childhood trauma, like you said, relationship trauma. Um, I don't know if I should add this one. Financial trauma.
Which one is financial
As
trauma?
Mama, wait now. So when I say financial trauma, it's a trauma for me because, like she said, it has not been tagged or named. There are many scenarios playing in my head right now. For example, you are from a very wealthy home or background, you adjusting to another system due to the fact that there was a change, or maybe life happened to you. Example, if a man whose family lived in a 3 bedroom, goes to very good school, fancy life and all that, and then this man passes out or passes on, then now the children have to go to like lesser schools, they have to downgrade whatever lifestyle they were living. There's a trauma that comes with it because moving from
What you're used to
yes,
what you're not.
there's this trauma because it's not like the whole world hates you. Nobody hates you. So yeah, there's a trauma with it, but people don't really see it. So I think I experienced that.
I think that people, funny enough, people don't really count that. Well, it's trauma, but not as serious. People feel like, okay, life happened to you, but really, there's trauma in that. There's trauma in that.
Because
Something you are
bullied.
used to. Yeah,
They
something
get
you are
bullied.
used to now. You are now, forced to do other things that you were not used to. Maybe you were used to being chauffeur driven to school. Now you have to jump Okada. You have to cross the road. You have to. It's quite it's quite the trauma as well.
Well, I mentioned something again, bullying. There's a trauma that comes with bullies. So
That's true.
Emotional and mental trauma.
Well, yeah, it all boils down to emotional and mental. Even the childhood, of course, when you have a traumatic experience as a child, it affects you mentally and emotionally, and then that's when you start to exhibit as an adult. You now start to exhibit some traces like avoidance. Let's take a scenario. Okay, let's assume that as a child, your parents got divorced. Maybe your father left the house, your father left your mother and all that, and then you grew up that way. It is possible for you to have the trauma. It's possible for you to have that, like they say, daddy issues, that you feel like, okay, it might even go as deep as you feeling like, oh, you are not worthy of love. Like, okay, your father leaving is your fault. It happens to a lot of people now in relationships, like your father leaving is your fault, so you are not worthy of love. So sometimes when you are looking to go into a relationship, you are still looking for that your father in every man that you want to go into a relationship with, and that's why some women, they go far and above, like, okay, they just want to do everything to be loved. That is it. They feel like, okay, they are not worthy of love. They didn't have love, so they want to do everything to shall be loved by a man. So they always do, and those are the kind of people that I think get abused or get what's that other word? Taken for granted. Because they just accept anything and they usually don't have boundaries anyway, because you just want to please the man. You just want to please the man because you feel, oh, that's the way for you to feel loved. And those are also some of the people that they say, no man has ever told me they love me or something. Because if you grew up with your father, and although there are fathers who are present too, and they are still absent, they are present physically, they are absent emotionally. So when you have an emotionally absent father, it will also affect you as a woman, because there's things that your father ought to have done to what's that word, to assure you. Once you have the reassurance of love from home, you'll be looking for it outside. It will just be on the normal, okay, you want to, but then when you don't have it at home, you are looking for it outside. You are looking for that love, because whether we like it or not, there's a void in everybody wants to be loved, so when you feel like you don't have that, you start looking for that in every relationship, and sometimes it doesn't go so well. What do you say, doctor?
Like, she made like very strong points, very very valid points, and I think um the major thing here is people's. I think over time, the major problem that we get to see, or the product of a traumatic experience, is the person's reaction to life.
Yeah.
It alters or modifies the way you see life.
Yes.
It patterns you to act a certain kind of way. Like,
Right.
what you see as normal would and make sense to you will be different from the other person. So now, somebody standing from a point where, quote unquote, has no experience with traumatic events would now tend to understand, okay, probably this person went through something as a child, or maybe for somebody that has daddy issues. Okay, let's look. Is the daddy present? Was this person abused as a child? So trying to now be in and understand what the person's
Where it's
point of view is actually coming from. That's where, okay, this person actually had a traumatic event growing up. So like, basically, the trauma, like we get to see or diagnose somebody as someone that has gone through a traumatic event by their reaction or by their insights to life. So basically, that's what I got from her. So like, I kind of agree with her. Like, it kind of circumvents how you see life.
Yeah.
Basically, so yeah.
You agree?
This you want to attack her?
Yes, I do. Well,
Yeah.
I heard a lot of hers and not him.
Well,
Uh,
speak for the him. I can speak for the her.
He's not always speaking for the humans.
Abiel, speak for the him.
well, my kings and brothers. I agree with what she said, but I don't necessarily agree with everything she said. I don't always agree with everything she says. So, I try to forget something so I don't get triggered. Yes.
Trigger on.
Yes. I'll just teach you people on that same trauma that she's talking about due to like life experience. I'm not traumatized though. They gave me love at home. I'm loved at home for those of you that don't know. But then I've been with somebody that was not. I wouldn't say she was not loved at home per se, but she happened to lose her mom at a very young age, at the age of 5, and the woman figure was not there per se. So we were having a thing, and then our aunties just came and they were like, "You are loving on this boy too much. This one, that one." So this is where I want to counter her. Who made the system of love like you have to love this person a certain way, or like why can't people just love the way they want to? Because saying that some men are available.
Why are you countering me? Did I mention anything about not loving?
Well, you said something contrary to what I was saying. Right?
How?
What did she say?
What did I say?
Like I was saying.
Haha.
Like I was saying. So there are no ways to love. You can love. Love knows no bound.
Exactly.
I know what I'm saying. So you saying you are loving on somebody too much. There's no such thing as too much. When
You're
love
countering
somebody-
how? You're countering the auntie.
Abiel.
Well, when she said that, it resonated with me and what those aunties said.
I didn't
What did you say?
say you love too much. That's not what I said. Of course, love is free. Anybody waits. Anybody can love. And then what I see as love may not be what you see as love. What I'm saying is that what I meant is that someone who has been deprived of love, funny enough, it even goes both ways. It goes 2 ways. But what I was saying there was that someone who's been deprived of love now wants this love and then goes above and beyond, to the point. No.
You saying people
No, to the point where,
because you made a statement and you said men that are available but are not available emotionally. What if they show their emotions in a different
there are lots of people that are no. There are lots of people who are available physically, but they are not available emotionally.
Oh.
And that's a big thing. Yeah, you can be available, physically.
Give an example.
Okay, a father who is available physically is a father who makes sure school fees is paid, there's food in the house, there's this, there's lights, you don't lack anything.
To him,
but,
he's doing everything.
But
like
to him, I'm a good father, I'm doing everything. But you are not available to your children. Your children cannot come to you and say, that this happened to me.
There's no bond.
There's no bond. There's no affection. You are not holding your kids. There's no holding. There's no I love you. There's no I'm proud of you. You did this. Well done. There's nothing like that. It's just okay. There's food in the house. Your school fees have been paid. Driver, take them. Doctor, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
But why are you faulting this too?
It's not a faulting.
I want to give an.
Wait, it's not a faulting. Wait, sorry. Can I talk? And at the end of the day, you find out that these fathers, especially, I'm a Gen X. I'm not a Gen Z. Yeah. So these fathers, they feel like that's what they are supposed to do. They are doing their best because they are also coming from somewhere, and then they also did not have emotionally present parents.
Mm-hmm.
They have parents. Yes, my own time. We do have emotional parents that were emotionally present. They were present, physically. They did what they felt they were supposed to do. Because like I always say, we are all doing this life for the very first time. Parenting, we are doing it for the very first time. Nobody has come and gone and is living life. So we are all doing it for the very first time. So they are doing the best that they think they should do. But if they also had parents who were emotionally absent, then see that thing is
Mama, let me talk now.
Let me just talk.
I want to be like an instant, so I'll hear your opinion about it.
Okay.
So my daddy comes home and he doesn't know why he's beating you. He's just beating you. Let me explain what I mean. My daddy comes home from work. My mom makes statement like, in Igbo, I'll just say it in Pidgin. This your son. You want to let him go wayward, no problem. And then he picks up the belt and he starts beating you.
Yeah, for
many
what?
a times. Many a times. And then he wakes you up in the middle of the night. My mom wakes him up to beat you in the middle of the night because she feels like it's his role to discipline you as a child. What do you say about this?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that is abuse. That's part of the things that I said that yes, it is actually abuse.
He's actually asking you what you did.
He's even asking what you did.
This time. Yes.
So he doesn't. Can you imagine? He doesn't even know what you did. Yet he's beating you.
Does that mean he's not emotionally?
He is not.
Available?
But then they feel that.
To them, they feel it is right. That's what
Yes.
she's saying.
To them, they feel it is right. Because of the way they were brought up, they feel it is right that this child is disciplined.
But you're
disciplined and correct.
traumatizing this child.
You are traumatizing this child.
Yes. You just come home and start flogging me. Somebody made him understand that it's
the person that made him understand did not even tell you what you did. Abi? She didn't tell you what you did.
He's trying to understand who you're faulting. Are you faulting the woman or you're faulting the man?
Yes.
Okay, exactly. that's where you are going. You see, that's where it's. But both of them are want to fault. Both of them are wrong.
She's at fault for not even telling him.
Wait. I'm going to say something. Relax now. I'm going to say something now. Do you know that this is a classical example of the Garden of Eden? What you just did.
Mama, you were not there. You were not in that Garden of Eden.
But it's in our Bible.
But it's in the Bible.
We have read it.
But it's in the Bible because you are saying, who do you want to blame now? He said she told him that this your boy, you won't punish him.
He did not give Adam.
He gave Adam apple.
God gave Adam.
Your special guest wants to speak.
God gave Adam instruction. But he did not ask
your
you
special
that.
guest wants to speak.
I don't think there's any apportioning blame there.
You see that started blame.
It's a foundational problem.
Exactly.
As regards now, for example, especially in the African society, there is this idea of toxicity when it comes to discipline. So now, because my parents beat me, for me to be responsible,
I have to beat
I
my
have
kids.
to beat my kids. And now, the average man growing up is not taught to be sensitive.
Exactly.
There is no emotional.
No emotional. They
maturity
feel a
that
man must not
comes
cry.
with
A man
being-
must not
One
show weakness. A
One
man
day
So-
this man, one day
so
this
now-
man.
Growing up as a child, you probably go out, you're coming back crying as a young boy, and you're crying. Your mother is like, "What's happening?" Some parents will tell you, "Man up." Now
Like,
they use
you're
that
a
whole
man,
word
you
about
shouldn't
man
cry.
up. Now there
Exactly.
is certain now as a man, I'm not supposed to show emotions. As a man, I'm not supposed to pick up my child, kiss him, and tell him I love you. Because
Imagine.
now growing up,
You
the
didn't
father
have that.
was not there. All he cared about was go to work, bring money.
Exactly.
He doesn't
That's all
even
he was
display-
taught
Yeah, he was
to
taught.
do.
Like,
That-
and they even
that's-
teach you in
that's what he
Africa. Like,
taught
growing up in an African home, yeah, you don't even see fathers show emotions even to their wives.
Exactly.
They feel like it's
you
an
know?
abomination most time. But like, to be fair, like some parents are actually trying nowadays. Like,
No,
they're
these
actually-
days it's
I can't
different.
relate to
Yes.
them.
like coming
These
from a
days,
family
it's
where
different.
like my father actually is present.
Mhm.
Like he really does not have a life outside the home. It's
You know?
basically his kids, his wife.
Wife.
Now you get to see life differently.
Yes.
But now, from a standpoint of now being a doctor, there are certain people that feel that they can talk to you about anything and everything. So you come across like people from all spheres of life telling you, okay, this is how, like once my father comes, I can't watch TV with him. When he comes
Imagine.
back, everybody is running. him.
Everybody's
Yeah,
scattering everywhere.
So,
Just
like,
say
That
it's
is
home.
so.
and I
That's
can't
so.
relate to that. But now, it still does not take away the fact that it's a reality,
happening, yeah.
someone's reality. But now, I think moving forward here, in schools, in families, the average young boy should be taught that it's okay to have emotions.
It's okay to cry.
It's okay to show emotions. Because if you don't solve that foundational problem here,
Yes.
you just keep repeating that vicious cycle. Like it
Exactly.
just keeps going back and back.
Exactly.
Right. With this pandemic.
And that is why there are
of men are
suicides
men are-
and
men
all
are
over the
supposed to
place and
provide.
depression. Because as the
Men
man,
can provide and show their emotions.
Like, you people need to understand where I'm coming from. I agree with him. But then again, if we still have this pandemic of women always writing on social media, when a man makes a mistake, men are supposed to provide. A woman takes a responsibility today, men are meant to provide. Anything that goes wrong, men are meant to provide. They will make that a
Men are meant
sole
to
priority.
provide what?
I don't know. I mean, if you go on social media right now, the first 3 comments you see is men are meant to provide.
No. For like, I'm trying to get your point. Like,
Like, my point is, when you make this a sole priority for somebody, that's all they are all
Provision.
about. Yes, like men are meant to provide. If I always see men are meant to provide, it sticks in. And now I don't care about like my emotional
what
whatnot.
I can provide
And still be emotional.
exactly, because you're not just meant to provide, you are supposed to provide, protect,
Show love,
and
protect,
love.
and all of
So
that.
excuse me,
Yeah,
what do you? Eh?
Then what do you do?
Then what do I do? Support
As a woman,
and love and respect and submit.
No, nobody like you are saying something entirely different from what you say on social media. Like we are
And
talking
social
about,
media is
like,
not the standard.
No.
We
Like,
know.
It's what like it's a
Oh,
good
it's not.
like it's a technological advanced era where social media kind of
Has
sets
an
the
impact.
standard of what is obtainable. Whether or not it's not right, like it's not right, but it kind of somebody wakes up one morning and just tweets something and it becomes the standard as which everybody
You
yardstick
decide.
for-
No, you
yardstick for-
decide.
But now
You have a decision.
like-
to
Well,
make.
no,
You
that's for people
decide
that have
to
that's
follow
for people that have their mind
You
on
don't
that.
have to. Yeah, why shouldn't you have a
the
mind of
same
your
thing
own?
you are
Come on, we have
You
underage
follow
that
any
use
trend
social
now.
you
media.
are exposed to a 7-year-old child is
Yeah,
exposed to the same thing.
which is bad.
So I think we as adults we need to filter and know what we put out there.
So there
Exactly.
And
are
we don't
people
just
in
put
place
out
to take
things for
responsibility for
engagement.
these things. Your
Exactly.
parents should be there to monitor what you're watching.
Your
Exactly,
parents are
that's
not-
another
nah,
thing.
They
You are not
can't
supposed to.
monitor
They
it.
can't
Just
do it
we
as
responsible.
adults, yeah,
You can
should
monitor
be
now.
responsible and accountable for whatever we put out. Now,
But then
if
what?
I'm going to
Not
put
a
out
lot of us will be
something,
responsible for what we put out.
no. If I'm going to put out something on social media, yeah,
Mhm.
I should be held accountable to that in the
Yes.
sense that when this thing is said outside here, do I live by this? Do I believe in this totally? Not that I just wake up one morning, you see one lady that respects and loves her husband at home comes on social media and be like, women shouldn't take that. She's taking what's at home.
Right.
Now,
Yeah, but
you
social
let-
media, you know,
What I'm
part of
trying to
social
explain.
media is for clout. You know, you cannot believe
But
everything.
you
Not
should-
everybody knows
You
that.
can't,
Not
you
everybody
can't.
knows
In as
that.
much as it should
Not
be,
everybody knows
it
that.
is what it is already.
It
so
is
how
what
do we
it
now
is
prevent
now.
the younger ones?
by
from
training
getting
ourselves
that.
Not
as
to put
adults,
things
not
like
to
that
do
out there.
things that you
I mean,
can't stand
do
by.
You can't do that because
You
that's
can't
what
speak
makes
for
that's what
yourself.
makes the social media
You can't
social
speak for every
media.
other
You can't
person.
say that.
this lady
You
came
can't-
out
you
and
can't
said,
say that.
before you sleep with her, you need to give her 20 mil. I mean, check that. Since she said that thing, I don't know if you watch shows and everything. See how these women have been reacting to
And a
that.
man will get 20 mil, go give woman 20 mil. If you don't
You
have it
don't
now,
have
you want to
give
go
her
and
now.
kill yourself to give to. And then it's not
I was
every
not expecting that
because
response. I was not expecting that response.
because and it's not every woman that we ask for 20 mil now.
But the ones that don't have a
So
mind of
it's
their
the
own
one that,
before,
that are asking for 20 mil that you are following. You know, I told you the other day, you have to watch the women that you are. Yeah.
I don't have to watch anything. I don't have to watch anything.
Because it's you that will buy 2 million naira wig. It's you that so you have to watch the women
And
you are
check your
rolling
own
with.
pocket too.
Exactly, you have to watch the women you are rolling with. You don't stereotype women that okay, Kiniko. It's not every woman that is going to ask you for 20 million to for what? To,
The ones
to
that
do
are
what
not, the ones that are not
exactly?
asking it publicly, Nko, because if you check, people follow the bands that are negative more than the ones that are positive.
Okay.
Yes.
They have their own audience.
It's social
now.
media
They have the person that is
now.
feeding
It's
them
social
all those
media.
Okay.
things. They have the men that are sending them
And
all
it's
the
for
money
clout.
too.
And it's for
And most of
clout.
the time they just come out to say rubbish.
Exactly,
But
because
like you said,
that's what
you're
people
saying
want to
rubbish, but
hear.
you're taking what's at home. It's basically what people want to hear. They want people to see them as, oh, I'm this, I'm that, whereas you're not even it.
I'm glad that you people are, your eyes are open and you are very self-aware.
It was not closed.
But
at
for
first
the
place.
No, do we
For,
not
but for the
agree?
people that are not self-aware or self-confident, that don't have a mind of their own, how do we go about these people?
So because I saw somebody that said, before you sleep with me, you must give me 20 million now. I'll now go and meet my man.
That's why we call you
It's
mama.
like-
That's why
it's
we call
like-
you mama. That's why we call you mama. That's why we call you Tiwa Says, because your stays. I'm talking about people that don't even have a say yet. Yes.
If they don't have a say, what are they doing on social media?
Mama, you have a. How old is your boy now?
He's 18.
Is he on social media?
Of course,
you
now.
don't have to say.
Does
You
it have,
say
does
you
it
don't
have
have to
sense?
I mean, did you just get him the phone when he turned 18?
Of course not.
What does that have to do
Pass
with
me
it?
my cake, yeah.
What?
Pass me this phone. What are you? I'm not understanding the point.
I don't even understand exactly. See,
Well, he's trying to explain that there was a point of his life. Like, I have a senior colleague. The child is 4 years old. He has a phone. He's going. You can't filter his access to social
you
media.
can't
Those
give
children
it
are
a
smarter
phone
than
or
you.
a tab.
Who is at fault?
That-
Is it the
That's
child
the
or the
parent.
father?
Exactly,
The
that's the
parent.
parent
Why?
now.
That's
So she
fault.
was wrong for giving her own son a phone before 18.
Why?
Nobody
You don't even
said
know
that. 4
why.
years, we're
Why?
talking about 4
We are
years,
talking
not
about
the
4 years.
age.
We are talking about 18.
No, see, whether or not, like, we know this thing.
Doctor,
like,
don't pity
children-
this lady. Oh, tell them as it is.
You think every man is like you?
No, now you
I
see.
don't
Go ahead, please.
No, now you see.
like me.
you
How?
You want to be attacking women? Leave us.
You see kids, yeah,
Mhm.
7, 11, 13, even 14. Some don't, even till 18. Some don't know their left from their right. Now, yeah, you come on social media. I think we this current generation, yeah, we have misplaced priorities.
Yeah.
We come on social
That
media.
there for you.
We come on social media, yeah, like there's problem plaguing the land, yeah, and our major problem is how much do you get from your partner, your social.
Steez, my
status.
steez.
But yeah, and
When you
now,
with your man in the
I just feel there should, in general, like Twitter, for example, Instagram, like we know that this is open to the public, be it kids, be it adults, and I think like you must not say everything that comes to your head.
Yeah.
You must not say everything that, like, you can have conversation with your colleague, with your age bracket, yeah. Have those conversations, yeah. Now, obviously, yes, there's freedom of speech when it comes to social media and all this stuff,
Right.
yeah. But I feel we as adults should be conscious of the fact that there are kids here. Now, the same way you filter what you say, yeah, in a room where you see a kid, let's say you are in this room and there's a child here, you probably want to have X-rated conversation. You tell the child to excuse. Now, you do that here in the four walls of your room. But you come on social media where they are still present here and you let out unfiltered.
It's not your fault that they are present.
No, they will
I
always
don't
be
think.
present.
No.
I feel like what
I think that is the job of the parents. I think that's the job of the parents. You have to filter what they
He
do.
figured to an extent, I knew my left to my right. Even then, he would, after a while, where's the phone? He wants
Exactly,
to go through
you
it.
go through
What
it.
are you checking?
Yeah,
What
I
are
used
you
to do
doing?
that too.
Just so.
And then the accounts that they
You
have,
know
you
he's
check
going to
their
get full
You
accounts.
know that he's going to get that.
Oh,
phone.
the very first time we have.
If you
No.
wanted to do anything, but like these children now, yeah,
Very smart.
You know, there's
That's
even a way you
not
can
us.
connect
Yes,
your
see,
phone
eh,
to their phone.
Yeah,
For the
they
very first time that
and they will
happened,
know
I
how
had
to
no
navigate
idea.
around it.
The
Now you can't entirely. I feel you parenting with the whole fearful and all of it.
It's not going to work. Exactly.
Because now
it's
they
not
are
going to
becoming
work.
smarter.
Yeah, even
Now
smarter.
I can go on my phone, have a demo account.
Yes.
I can even use my laptop tab or use a friend's phone to access this. Now, whether or not you are looking through this, it still does not solve the problem.
Right.
Whether or not you allow me, you give me a phone, it still does not solve the problem. Now, the fundamental problem here boils back to the adults that should know better. That's why I'll keep faulting them. Like, you can never blame the parents, you can never blame the kid. Is these adults on this social media that come and say certain things here, there are some conversations you just look at and you're like, why did you say this?
Right.
What are you getting at? What do you plan to get out of this?
Some don't even have phones, but you just
Clout.
see
some
things,
of these
'cause-
adults have children too.
So like,
Yes.
I mean, if you check, some of these children don't have phones. Because I watched this particular video where this young boy was asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Or "Are you in school?" He said no. They're like, "What do you want to be?" He said he wants to be a young boy. And he doesn't have a phone. You want to fault the parents for that too?
No, so that one, is it from phone he saw it?
The society is very porous.
It's not from
And I
phone he
don't
saw
think that
that
we are
one.
allowed-
Where did you see it?
All those uncle on the streets. He must know that this is uncle or
How
whatever.
could they have?
It's
like,
not social
controlled
media.
that?
He couldn't have gotten that on social media now. He
Eh,
said
but
that
how
he doesn't
do
have-
they, how would they have controlled that?
How could who have controlled that?
I mean, he should have a mind of his own, right?
No, he's young now. He's what that one is. You see, that one is environmental influence as well.
But he should have a
And
mind of his own. In your
He
own
cannot
words.
have mind of his own as a child now. What are you saying? He cannot have a mind of his own as a child.
No, it was like 15, I guess. It was like 15.
I don't
He's 3
understand.
years younger.
I
than
don't
myself.
understand his point.
It's not her son is not sure she can speak for her son. She cannot speak for every other 15-year-old
Exactly.
outside there.
What's your stress with
He's
my
not on
son?
social media.
Eh?
He's not on social media.
Who?
And
My
he-
son?
And he wants to. No, the boy. And he wants to be a Yahoo boy.
Hey, that's the boy now. That's the boy. That's not
business
my
is the
son.
boy
I don't
again?
That's not her
understand.
business.
I don't
That's not
understand.
her business.
Does she know the boy?
Does she have to know the boy?
What are you saying?
Does she have
What's
to know
your
the boy?
point
What is your
exactly?
point?
My point is, you cannot control how or these people or whatever information you put out there affects them. Because I was making reference to the 20 million naira issue, and you were like, it's
That's
what
the one that is paying you.
it's paying. Yes, paying me. It's paying me.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Oh,
it was
Yeah,
traumatizing.
now.
It was traumatizing.
Oh, they have asked you for 20 million before. Oh,
Anybody that asked me,
And you
she
didn't have-
work, get a job,
oh.
be a doctor or something.
Ah. 20 million, doctor.
I mean, yes, if you want to be a doctor or something, like, that's like one of the jobs that I mean, it's giving you
That can give you 20 million. Please confirm that, doctor.
You will go to your village.
I mean, if he's doctoring in the village, right? Try it. Since the doctor
My
is
guy,
village.
no doctor is not going to give you 20 million.
Abi,
That's what
oh,
it is.
I'm not. It's not
Spend on
guys.
a woman.
It's not guys
Ah,
that
hey, hey,
for 20
No, no.
million naira. It's girls. So get a job. Be a doctor in your village. That's what it's trying to tell you.
That is not. Don't speak for him. You are
That's what
confused.
you see.
You are
You're
confusing
us,
our
you're
guests.
confusing-
What's
you're confusing
happening?
them.
I'm not confused. He's smart.
You're
He don't
confused.
understand.
You don't get anything.
Let's go back. Don't let us
Please, let's not
deviate,
forget
please.
the trauma.
Alright.
Yes, we are talking about trauma. Exactly, you have
Yes.
traumatized us
Traumatizing
as
you.
usual.
One of them.
As usual,
You're traumatizing me.
you are traumatizing us, and the topic is
What?
trauma.
Putting too much unnecessary
How
information in my
trauma
head.
affects relationships. So we are going to start from you. Tell us how trauma affects relationship. This is your 20 million trauma. How does it affect relationship?
Well, in every way possible, in every way you can think of, because what you date defines you. If you, I don't know the type of relationship. It could be boyfriend and girlfriend, marriage or whatnot. I mean, I have this lady I know. She said she doesn't want to get married again. She has been married for 10 years. I mean, I think whatever happened within the 10 years traumatized her that she doesn't want to get married again. And then for those, I mean, let me use this example of you being broke and your spouse or girlfriend left you because she didn't have money, and then you have money now. How do you think you would treat women the same way you treated women when you didn't have money? No, that's a trauma as well. This one, I think I'm traumatized by it because You know, there was a time in my life that I was broke. And then I was not treated right by women. Everywhere you go, broke. You go on the internet, you're broke. Go to social gatherings, you're broke. Go here, you're broke. Now I'm no longer broke. I am no longer broke.
And
So if you call me broke now, it's your business. But then, how am I supposed to treat women? Especially the women that called me broke back then.
those are the women that called you broke back then.
I mean,
So you
it
don't have to
gives me a
treat every
general
woman.
view.
No.
It gives me a general view.
No, that's not right.
Why
You
you
don't.
not
You
just
shouldn't
stereotyping
generalize.
every
I
other
don't
woman?
understand. You shouldn't
If women do
generalize.
the same thing
Those
to
are the
men,
effects of relationship or marriages.
I'm going to say it
You asked
again.
me a
ugly.
question,
I said you
I'm
need to
answering.
check the woman you are rolling with.
I don't need to check
You know,
anything.
I've been telling you. You need to check the type of women that you are rolling with.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Maybe it's only Gen Zs you are rolling.
Okay.
Maybe it's only Gen Z because I don't know the type of because okay, somebody traumatized you that you are broke, because 5 women called you broke.
5 is not enough.
No, I'm just saying. And now that you have money, you now feel like how many billion of women do we have in the world today? You now feel like they have to pay for 5 women that called you broke. At the end of the day, were they lying?
They weren't.
Exactly.
Were they broke?
It does not
Were
matter.
they broke?
It does not
Mama, were
matter.
they broke?
Were you broke?
I was.
Okay.
So were they.
And
So
you,
what
that's not the
did
point.
you call them
You people should
broke?
come one by one now. Come one by one. So what happens to humble beginnings and growing up together? Why do I have to go and make it and come and impress you? Yes, because if you look at the whole schedule thing, we went to school together, we graduate together, we go to university together, we come out together, we have a job, and you are calling me broke. You yourself are not doing well, you don't even have a car, and you feel like you can call me broke. There's a trauma to
You
that.
were actually broke.
They were too,
That it does not change the fact that you were.
but they were.
But I'm talking about you, not them.
What are you saying? What am I saying? I said I was traumatized by these people that
Yes,
called me
okay.
broke.
With the
Sorry.
trauma now.
I understand that you were traumatized. Have you healed from your trauma? Because you obviously haven't healed from your trauma.
I don't
Because if you have healed from your trauma, you won't say that you are going to every woman now.
I never said anything.
It's
Now,
like you have a
thank you for something.
vendetta. You have a vendetta for women now.
I
Because
don't.
they call
You
you
should
broke.
know that by now. He does it on every show.
Exactly.
He's
You have
attacking
a
women on
vendetta.
every show.
Well, that's what they think. But
It is what you do.
I don't have a problem with women. I have a mother. I have female friends. So
Oh,
whatever
really?
they say, I don't know.
Really?
It's up to them. Yes. Yes, I have a mother and I have female friends. So
Okay, so that's how trauma affects relationship according to you. Your
Yeah.
personal experience.
yes.
Okay. So I want to say that okay, there are other ways that trauma affects relationship. Okay, like I mentioned earlier about those that have daddy issues and all that. You know, so when you are in a relationship, like I said, you want to do above and beyond. And God help you that you are with a good man, you know. If you are not, the man will probably just be taking advantage, you know, and you won't even have boundaries.
Shaggy Pro Max.
I'm telling you, we just do, and then you want to be taking everything because love, or maybe the man says, maybe even abuses you, maybe beats you up like that. He loves me, Kiniko, I'm the one that caused it, you know. You'll be making excuses for him and all that. Those are things that could happen, you know, if you've had trauma, if you didn't have a father figure present and all that. Then let's talk about people. Okay, let's say someone who was raped, you know, who was raped earlier in life, maybe through some whatever experience or whatever, and now you are in a relationship. You know that could also affect the relationship because you might not be open to sex per se, or you might not enjoy sex, or you might shy away from some acts because maybe it takes you back to your trauma, or you just feel like, oh, you don't trust men anymore, or you are just closed, you know. That could also affect your relationship. You know, that's a trauma that could affect relationship as well. And then if you have been through so many, like men have showed you shaggy, that's another
Why is it
trauma.
always men
They have
showing
shown you
shaggy? That men that have been shown shaggy by women.
They have showed you shaggy,
It's
so
always one sided in my head. And I don't like it. I just don't like it.
so when you get into another relationship, you are closed. Like you are closed because and it's not like it's a good thing, it's a bad thing, because even before you start the relationship, you have seen the end of the relationship, you have thought about it, you have finished it in your head, like, okay, it's just going to be like all the other men, you know, it's going to be like this. So you're not even giving that relationship a chance because your mind is closed, like, oh, it's going to do this. And then when you even begin to see some things, they might not even exactly be what you think they are, but you just assume, you just finish it. 2 times 2 is 5. It's not even 4, it's 5. and then you just judge the poor fellow based on your past experiences. That's what trauma can do to you as well. Doctor, what do you have to say? What can trauma? Can you give us some effects of trauma, or what do you think trauma does?
For me, people have to be made aware of. I think the idea of mental health is
Exactly.
greatly
Yeah.
ignored,
Overlooked.
Juno,
overlooked.
Juno.
Like a lot of people would go through certain things, and even as at when they're going through it, they don't even know it's traumatic.
Yeah.
So I think the average person should be made aware of um, being able to talk to somebody about what you're going through. Let's say you are in an uncomfortable situation, you should learn to know how to talk about it. It's not easy, but the idea of bottling up, men should learn how to speak up.
Yeah.
Women should learn how to speak up.
Mm.
And we on the outside, let's say for those that quote unquote are not traumatized or are on the other end of the spectrum, they should learn not to stigmatize certain people. So now it makes the society a better place if, okay, I go through something, I feel, okay, I can confide in you, I can talk to you about it, and maybe feel better or look for a solution to that problem. Let's say for idea of, like for people that ladies that unfortunately were raped by certain people, maybe at a younger age. Now, obviously, there are certain things like vaginismus that they might have.
Exactly.
They should be made aware. I think this education should be put out there. So because now somebody might be suffering in silence. Now
Yeah.
she probably wants to have sex. She doesn't enjoy sex. Let's say maybe even in marriage. She doesn't enjoy it. But now she doesn't know who to talk about, or she feels like she's abnormal because she does
Yeah.
not know about that. Because nobody talks about that. There's an extensive outcome of what trauma can do to a person. But if we don't stigmatize, we teach the average man and woman to be vulnerable. I think relationships will be better. And for people that, let's say you were in a relationship, it failed because quote unquote you were abused in that relationship. It doesn't make any sense to jump into another relationship. I think a lot of people nowadays are going psycho about the idea of relationship. You don't have to be in a relationship if you're not ready for a relationship. Now you see a young girl of 16, 17. What's on her head is my boyfriend, my girlfriend, or the guy is my girlfriend. Like, you don't know what you want from life yet. You don't know what you like in a man. You don't know what you like in a woman. So you just keep jumping from pillar to post with kids. Even there are adults too that still don't even know what they want.
Exactly.
So now, I feel if you as an individual can develop yourself, understand yourself, there are certain things you will not take.
Yeah.
So I think if you're mature enough for a relationship, only then should you go into a relationship. It curbs certain excesses. Because now, let's say for an example now, you as a young girl, you're dating a young guy. He's not emotionally mature. He does not know his right from his left. Now he talks to you anyhow, he probably hits you. He does not know, he has probably not been trained on how to be a gentleman. Or you meet a woman that just runs her mouth, probably disrespectful, or the guy is disrespectful. All this will happen when an individual, regardless of age, is not mature enough to be in a relationship. So now, you don't have to hop into different people say, okay, I'm in this relationship with this just to get experience. You don't gain experience off of that. There are many of our parents that had just one relationship, which is their marriage, and it lasted longer than most people that probably have 10 relationships before they eventually get married, and after 2 years they are divorced. Why? Because he abused me. He does not respect me. Why? All this stuff here, it begs to question, is the idea of serial relationship actually tantamount to the experience or being better in the whole relationship stuff? If you tend to understand yourself, set realistic goals for yourself, be in relationship when you feel you are mature, and you should have a reason for going into a relationship, not because he's a fine guy or she's a fine girl. You don't just go into a relationship because of what he can or she can provide for you. It should be, okay, this is what I want in a man. Now I'm at this stage of my life where I feel this person's trait matches or would supplement my own traits to reach my goal. Now, it might sound selfish, but it pretty much helps the relationship in the sense that both of you know that you are deficient in a particular stuff. So now I'm supporting you, you're supporting me. You know my flaws, I know your flaws. I don't expect you to be perfect. But now, the fact that I respect you well enough to be vulnerable with you and say, okay, these are my flaws, yeah, and these are your strengths. Let's work together to make this work, be a family, be a career. And I think a lot of all these advice and all this stuff would probably be reduced to the barest minimum when we stop having a lot of people hop from pillar to post with misplaced priorities as regards relationship. Basically understanding, okay, this is what I want. I'm at this phase of my life where I can handle a relationship. And this person is, you don't put a, what's that English? Here, English is where they say a circle peg, or I don't know how, a round peg in a square hole. Basically, like, you don't come and, okay, you are very erratic as a man. This woman too is erratic. You are very opinionated. She's opinionated too. But now, because of the physical attributes, you overlook every other thing and go into a relationship. Obviously, people will have problems. You might not be even mature enough to handle those problems. And now, either you're abused, either you're heartbroken. Now you carry that trauma from this relationship to the next one, pass it on to the next person, and so I just feel understanding yourself, growing and being mature enough to be in a relationship would curb certain excesses.
How do you know when you're mature enough to have a relationship?
I think you're never 100% ready. But now, when you are intentional about making, like, let's say for example, I feel I'm not ready for a relationship. Let's say I'm not ready for a relationship. Yeah. But now, in that time frame, I work twice as much to better myself. I probably read books, probably try to edify myself, like personal development, so that I'm good enough for myself. And when somebody comes along, I know that, okay, yes, I'll be good enough for that person. And even if I am not, I should be willing to learn. Exactly, I should be willing to learn. Let's say when you've worked on yourself, I've worked on myself, we come together, we know we are work in progress. So now we work it out together. Not just hopping, okay, I'm in a relationship because I'm in a relationship, because it's the trending thing. So exactly. Okay, you probably
yeah, this one will take care of me. Pablo. Pablo and go.
Mama, please do
you have spoken well, Dr. Jare.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for talking to these ladies.
Hey, Silvio.
I'm talking to myself. Me, I'm also talking to myself.
But there's another thing. Sometimes they say that you don't choose who you fall in love with. That love just happens.
So, I don't agree to that.
That's right.
Really?
I don't agree. Because, like, for me, I think it's more of a calculated risk. If I'm going to partner with somebody, it's calculated.
I didn't say partner.
No, like,
I say fall in love.
Exactly.
Fall in love is different from partner.
I think for me, the average guy sees a relationship as a partnership. At least for me. So the idea of fall in love, now, you have infatuation, you have soft spots for a particular person, you tend to be vulnerable towards a particular person, but it's controlled. If I don't want to get to that point where I'm head over heels for this person, I can't control that. If I don't let that person in, if I don't have constant communication, it's not going to get there. But now, let's say, okay.
But if you don't have the constant communication, how do you get to know that person?
No, my point is
well enough to know that, okay, this person is like this, opinionated, and it can't work.
By having conversations, by seeing somebody, you clearly know.
Like there's a conversation you have with yourself about this person.
You know,
most of the time you convince yourself to like this particular person.
There is that. Yeah.
Convince yourself
to like a
somebody.
Particular person.
Why are you convincing yourself to like somebody?
Not like convince per se, but like there's this conversation you have with yourself. Like there are things you just make yourself like about this particular person.
You make yourself like. Why?
Mama, how do you fall in love with somebody?
I think
Because before you fall in love, there are things you like that this person possesses.
definitely that
And
will
before you
like
like that thing, you spoke to yourself to like this particular thing.
No, I didn't speak to myself to like.
So mama, you just saw
I
big
just
head.
like
Like, oh, I think I like any guy that has big head. You have big head, I'm in love with you. There's just something about big heads that there's something big head does to you that you just like, and you say, oh, this big head.
It's possible, no.
Exactly. I know big head does something to you, but so yes, that's the point. Please can you continue? Please, you can laugh actually.
Which big head have you seen with me that you're talking about?
No, please let him
No,
continue.
for me, I just feel like
yeah,
you
yeah,
can
for
control
me.
who you fall in love with, basically, because I know then, growing up, like, you probably hear stories of, like, elderly people then, they'll be like, why did you get married to this woman? Because most times, they never really courted as much. Like,
Yeah,
if
so
you
they
look
don't
back,
court, they
they
don't
never-
fall in love.
It was more of, okay,
They choose for
this
them.
person's mom is saying that I think this girl will be good for you,
Yeah.
or somebody that knows you well is saying that I think this person will be good for you. Now that begs to like, okay, what is that trait that other person is seeing in her that feels now the person understands you as a person and understands the other person and feel like, okay, these two people are compatible. And now it works. Now those
Why
marriages
doesn't that
last
happen
longer.
anymore?
Those marriages last
wait,
longer.
can I say
Yeah.
something? Can I say something?
Yeah.
But I don't want to believe. It's not even that I don't want to believe. I know for a fact that some of those marriages, I'm not going to say all. I know that some did work out, like the synergy, there was the bonding and all that. But it's not all of them that worked out. But because it wasn't as easy to walk away from a marriage as it is now. Now, if you eye me, I can decide I'm walking out. But then they could not. They could not do that then. You will find out that there were lots of people then, back then.
No,
They were not even happy in their marriage, but they couldn't leave because they felt that this is what I'm supposed to do. This is where I'm supposed to be, and I'm telling you for a fact. They were not happy.
See what I'm
figure out
saying.
ways
See what I'm
to work
saying
things
here.
out.
Like now, then the values were. I won't take away the fact that there were a lot of abusive relationships there.
A
Like
lot.
they were toxic relationships.
And they,
you get.
yes.
But aside that, putting that aside, yeah, now putting relationships where yes, they have problems. Now there's no way you'd be living with somebody for 40 years and you guys will not disagree or even want to break each other's head. But now they were mature enough to understand that it's never a perfect marriage. But now we as young people nowadays feel
Gen
like
Z.
it has to be perfect.
Somebody
Somebody gets married, you date for 10 years, you married for 2 years, you married for 2 years and they divorce, and you look like, what really happened? And you don't tend to understand why. Because now, the value system has depreciated. The idea of, I can't take this. Now, obviously, I'm not saying you should be in an abusive relationship, but if you have a disagreement with your partner, you should be ready to fix that problem and not just back out from it. Now, people just feel like, okay, there are a lot of potential opportunities outside.
Yeah.
If I live here, I'm going to jump into this one. Because then I think the major problem was that if, as a woman, if you left a relationship, you'll probably not be able to go.
Yes, stigma. There was stigma attached to it. So
there was stigma.
you
But
can't
now
go
that
anywhere.
stigma is gone, but it still does not excuse the fact that you can work out a relationship. Like you can actually make things work out.
Yeah.
Because
If you want
it's
to.
sad where you see a young person, you guys are married for 2 years, and let's say because of what example will I use? Okay, let's say for infertility, you're married for 2 years, no child. The man is already impatient.
That's too early now.
He's becoming a lot of people. You'll be surprised. Like a lot of people will be like, "No, I'm still young. I need my kids at a young age." So they tend to look outside. Now, I think when you understand that you being in a marriage, yeah, it's not solely because of okay, I want kids or I love this person. Yeah, you love this person. Yeah, you knew that this person had certain flaws before you even got married to this person. So why not work things out? Like it's sad that you see two people that are head over heels for each other 6 months, they do the best proposals, they do the best weddings, and 2 years down the line, they're divorced. Why?
But another reason for that, that these days, people don't get to know each other that well before they jump into.
But they never
But
knew
they
each
never
other
knew each
then.
other before.
Well, I don't know.
It was even
but
worse
then-
then because families just marry people.
but then they had a lot of things tying them down that they could. Now we don't have
Their
that.
value
No, the fact that
system
you
was
think they were
yeah,
tied
their value
down
system
is a
was
problem.
better, but now there's nothing like that. So, and then the people now they don't get to know each other. They are all about the butterflies. Oh, you got me this. Oh, you proposed. Oh, that kind of thing. They don't really get to know who is this person. Who is this person? They are just it's superficial. The relationships are superficial.
Yeah,
they
they're
don't
just
go
like
in.
20 million.
So it's when they now get married that they now
Yes.
see this one snores.
But there were people who snored.
This one does not bath. This one bath only once in 2 days. I
You
can't
can
cope.
walk all of all those stuff.
Yes,
Ah,
everything. There's
okay.
no.
You walk out hygiene.
Hmm,
You could walk out. Like I feel the idea of love,
hmm.
or you loving a particular person, is learning to love the person in their own language. Now, my idea of being loved might be different. Let's say, for example, I'm a materialistic person. Let's say I'm a materialistic person here. Now, if you like spend quality time with me, I don't see it.
Exactly.
Do you get?
Mm.
But now, me understanding that, okay, you love quality time, regardless of how much gifts I shower on you,
Mhm.
you not necessarily feel
Yeah.
as loved as you would want to feel. Then now, I now spend quality time with you, and you'll be head over heels for
Yeah.
that. So, understanding your partner and
Mhm.
loving them in their own language,
Their own language, not your
would make. But now, a lot of people don't understand that. They
Yes,
feel like,
they
okay,
don't
as a
understand
man, I just provide and
Yes,
she will love
wait,
me. No,
what
it
else
doesn't
do you
work
want?
like that.
I've done
Now,
this,
you
I've
might
done
get
that.
attention, but for how long? Now, somebody, let's say you get attention, you get married to her. Somebody else is now spending quality time.
Hey,
for her in
giving her
place
what
of
she
work.
wants, gone.
Now, there's a tendency that there might be temptation. But
Yeah.
now, you as a man, you study your partner, be aware of your surrounding, be aware of your environment, be intentional when it comes to, and a lot of all this stuff would
Fall in place.
fall in place over time. So you don't have to break up. It's just okay. This man is doing this. He drops his socks at the door when he comes back. How do I get him to see
He
that
doesn't brush
I
in
don't
the
like
morning,
this?
and he has gone off to like evening. What do you do in that type of situation?
But the thing is
Somebody
that
is leaving
how
you
was
out.
it now? How was he brushing when you were
No, even
dating?
during the relation, I'm not talking about marriage now. Let's say during the relation, somebody is leaving it out. You get to your front, I forgot to brush.
How can you forget to brush? And then you still go ahead and marry that kind of person.
No, let's say
Let's
you're
say
talking
that's
about
what you
fixing
want.
it, fixing it.
Tell them, bro.
Bro,
You
you
have to
need to brush.
Like,
I'm
you
not
have to
in.
brush.
You
No, no,
close up.
like,
You have to
Everybody,
brush.
like, so long as the person is open to learning, bro, you have
Let's
to
say you even
brush.
make sure you have to brush.
And you
Buy the
know,
person
some men are not open to like that. Some men.
No, but you're not a man. You're not a man.
What's
What's
the guy's
the problem?
problem? I don't know.
You're not a
Why is
man.
something pinching you?
Why they are still
Those women stay without brushing. I bought brush for somebody. I bought brush for
Why they
somebody.
are still cutting? They want to please the
Some
woman,
men, some men.
and they want to
Usually
do
men
all that.
alone.
But once their mind like this, all the guards they now remove that cloak.
And that's the problem. It goes back to what I said.
Exactly. They now remove that
Self-development.
clothes. You now see
If
the
you
real
are
person.
intentional about, okay,
Being better for
having
yourself.
a smelly mouth, if somebody has it, I won't like it. So why do I put somebody's daughter through that?
Exactly.
Do you get? So now, I personally say, okay, I forget to brush my teeth whenever I go out. Okay, I'll now be intentional. Probably in the car, there will be a toothbrush there. So even if I forget, you buy pure water and you brush your teeth.
So
Do you get? Over time, you get accustomed.
But
to
then
it.
there's a way you have to communicate
They
with
will
this
not
particular
brush.
person for that person to always remember to want to
No,
brush.
but like I say, grown up.
I say,
why does
No,
somebody
that's
have to
an example.
why somebody have to remind you to
I'm
brush
saying
your
is that
teeth?
for that scenario now, the guy going into a relationship, was not intentional going into that relationship. He did not work on himself. Like that whole self-development. Okay, me going into a relationship now, probably leading to marriage. I will live with somebody else. And now me understanding that if I don't bath well, or most people in relation, like you have conversations with why, because right now, like I'm working in Lagos Island Maternity Hospital, you see a lot of all these pregnant women they're done with. And when they see you, they probably compliment you and say, oh, I wish my husband. Now, a lot of these men get married, and in the bid to chase money and all those stuff, forget
They get carried away.
Forget themselves.
Now
Why
you
will
see
you
a
forget
man,
yourself?
the woman will probably you hear all of them having conversations like because I spend a lot of time with my patients. You come amongst them and they're having conversation and be like, "Mother man, we just dey go cut the hair with the armpits for months."
Imagine.
Do you get now?
And then you want the woman to be receptive to you
They
when you
don't-
come.
When does communication come in
No,
the
see,
relationship?
They have to tell you that,
A
yeah,
lot of
Abi.
all those stuff, yeah. The man has to be intentional about his hygiene
Exactly.
first.
Yes,
About
but
yourself
Then the
then
woman
first.
too should also be able to communicate.
That's
Okay,
what I
what
was saying,
happens in a
same thing.
situation whereby you cannot tell your partner this thing because of either
The way they
he or
take
she
it
is going to
because they are-
get offended and you know
No,
it's
no.
There are
sending back
types of
and
No, no,
communication.
if I'm in love with you, yeah, and I'm married to you, no matter whatever it is, I should be able to tell you. because
Communicate
I should
it one
understand
way
What
or
you.
if
the
I
other,
told
one
you
way or the
before
other.
and you
And I've
you
told
brushed
you
your
too many
like
ways.
So
woman, leave me alone.
since we're making assumptions, yeah, I like my house arranged, and then a lady comes in, she throws her bag there, she keeps her watch here, she keeps her chain there, like she's very scattered. What do we do in situations like
You
that?
tell her now.
Now we're telling, now I'm communicating, right?
Yeah.
But this man forgets to brush his teeth. He's not communicated with. That is what I feel like he's trying to say.
No. You can communicate
What,
as well, but I'm
what
saying
if
that your
I tell
personal
her?
hygiene.
What if I tell
To
her
start with, they don't even have to tell you.
this being scattered
It's
is
you.
hygiene is not hygiene to
It's
me.
not the same as brushing your teeth. Oh.
Well, Mama, like we said,
aside of your partner, you're not talking to other people.
like we said, if it's a reoccurrence, something that happens like it keeps happening, then there's a problem. But when it happens once or twice, there's a way you should be able to reach out to your partner that this thing you're doing, like that's where communication comes in.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know how to communicate, then you are not meant to be together. There's some people that
I
prefer
should be able
to.
to tell my
Yeah, I
partner.
can use this shot to tell you that your mom they smell. Which kind of this?
Exactly.
Some people need you to like be.
But you know,
quiet.
some people take offense like that.
That's why you need to know your partner.
Understand your
Me,
partner.
I prefer you to
Do I
yab
need
me.
just at him for him to understand? Do I talk to him when we are at our highest?
Do I need to get a toothpaste and keep in his car or do
So
something?
knowing how to communicate with your partner is key, but it still
I don't
goes
get
back.
I
No, it
put
still
toothpaste
goes
in
back.
his car.
It still
He
goes
doesn't
back.
know
No.
full grown adult man.
I
does
mean,
not
full
know he has
grown
to-
adult woman will put her bag, use towel on my bed.
What's
Full
wrong with
adult
this
woman
guy?
would throw her bag here, keep her wristwatch here.
You are paid. I understand.
If you feel like
Ugly,
if you feel,
pele,
no,
pele.
stop trying to mess with my emotions. If you feel like a grown adult should be able to brush his teeth and remember a grown woman should be able to keep things organized. Women are known for nurturing, right? So you as a woman, you now come to my home that me I arrange by myself, keep clean. You now start scratching it. You put your bag here, put your socks here, put your wristwatch there. Like when you use towel finish, you put it on my bed. A grown woman, Mama, when we are going one side, you should tilt to the other side too.
Okay.
Do you understand? Thank you.
So the solution to this is self-development.
Exactly.
And communication.
And communication.
Both of them.
You don't say because a man does not brush, he's a grown man.
But I will still say it. Why do they have to tell you to brush your teeth?
Why do you have to put your things in place?
It's not the same thing.
It's the same thing. You're a grown woman. As a child, you were trained to keep your room clean. I mean, for those of us that have our rooms to ourselves, when your mother comes in or your father and they see your room is dirty, what they do, they flog you because you need to keep your room clean. Now you're grown. You now leave all that home training to go to a man's house to keep it messy.
Excuse me, ladies.
How do you nurture
For
a lady like
adventure,
that?
the woman that Obi is talking about is watching this video. I beg you, please stop putting wet towel on the
his
bed.
bed.
Stop scattering
I beg.
things. Just arrange because he's clearly paid. Please.
And for the
Take
men
notes.
or whatever man she's talking about that doesn't brush, if you are watching this video, brush.
I don't know anyone that does
Because
not brush.
She's speaking from experience, honestly.
I am not speaking.
It was question that I asked.
So that man,
Oh my
please
God.
just put toothpaste in your car if you have a car. Because they
Oh,
mentioned
please,
that.
Divine, talk
Put
about
toothpaste in your car.
times of trouble in a relationship. Any other
Mama,
type
you
of
don't shut me
trouble.
up.
Well, I
Put
feel like
toothpaste
they've
in your
said.
car.
I feel
Yeah,
like
you
they have
said
spoken
enough.
on every aspect. Okay, well, I feel like everybody has spoken about the other aspects. Another aspect of traumatic events that you can experience in relationships is abuse. Be it emotional abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse is another traumatic event because, like we have said, it's something that you carry from one relationship to another. And then let's say in the next one, you're not abused or whatever the case may be. But that one doesn't work out because, like you said, something about seeing the end of the relationship before it even gets there. So maybe because of you've been verbally abused, emotionally abused, all of that, by the time you get into the next relationship, there are certain things that just keep you guarded, and then you're questioning, oh, is this it? Is that it? You're trying not to be manipulated again or gaslighted again and all of that. And that one ends. And you find yourself going to the next one again, carrying all this same baggage, trust issues, everything. And then, like we've already stated, personal development. The moment you realize, okay, well, people do not know when they are going through traumatic events. But I feel like this is why you have outside relationships, like your friends, your family members, that, I don't know, I feel like there's one way or the other that you have somebody that you're listening to that can point it out to you and say, okay, this is this. I feel like you should take time, work on yourself, figure it out before you carry all this baggage again. Because as you're carrying this baggage from one person, you meet one perfect person, someone that could have been perfect for you, but you go and basically this time around use your own hand to destroy it because you have accumulated every other thing, and then you now ruin another person for somebody else, and then the chain just keeps on growing and growing and growing. So if you're coming from a place whereby you're abused physically, emotionally, verbally, and you have realized that you're abused, it is not just going to go away like that if you enter the next relationship. And I saw this video on TikTok once whereby the girl said, oh, when you think that you have healed from a relationship, it's when you get into another relationship that you will not really know if you have been healed, because so many things will trigger that traumatic events that you went through, and it depends on how you react to it. Do you caution yourself? Do you know that, okay, this person is coming from a place of love? Or do you also know that, no, this is something that I should not even take? If we communicate about it and you see that nothing is being done, let me back off so that I don't find myself where I'm coming from again. That's another aspect of traumatic events somebody can experience in.
But what causes this trauma? What makes people die that traumatize people? What causes it? How do they get to the point where they traumatize people? Because they said that hurt people. You know, people who are hurt, they are the ones that hurt other people. So how does this start?
Example, I have a friend now, a female friend who has seen Shege. She has seen Shege Pro Max. She has seen Shege in all aspects of life. And now, I think the last time we were talking, she was like, men have not started to see the Shege that she's going to show them. Simply because she has endured a lot of rubbish. So I think that day we were talking, and she was talking about her man, her side piece, her this. I was like, only, she said she has not started to show men half of what they've shown herself that she. So like you said, hurt people. The same thing goes for some guys. Some guys will be in one relationship, they've come out and they might have seen Shege. I had one male friend in university who said the last time he was in a serious relationship, somebody that used to be a playboy, he was notable, everybody knew him as he could not be one person. He entered a relationship with this girl. What did he not do for her? Only for, at the end of the day, we shall hear that, I think when we were graduating, they had separated, one thing less another thing. But then, when we were talking, I was like, he cannot see himself in another relationship with another person. Because the first time he decided to try it and put it on, and I started telling him, the same thing you did to so many other people happened to you. You couldn't take it. And if it was even that it has happened to him like multiple times, I'll say, okay, you have been trying. Now you have reached a point where you don't want to try again. This one you have done to people over the years. It happened to you once. You realize that no, and then you want to go back again and continue like that. So if you're like what Dr. Rafa said, if you are not self-developed, you haven't developed yourself, you haven't worked on yourself, personal development, healed from traumatic events, known what you want from a relationship, you're just going to go on hurting people, changing partners like Kidode.
I think when someone goes through a traumatic experience or whatever, or somebody has done you shake what I think you need to heal. You need to heal, because if you decide now that, oh, I'm going to do the same thing for someone, you don't even know, maybe that's your partner, forever partner is the person you now want to show shege, you know, so you never know. So it's always better to heal. Although I know that you can't completely heal. You can't completely heal before you get into another relationship, because we are all relational beings anyway. We are wired to be together. We are not wired as lone rangers. We are wired to be with someone, you know, to talk to someone, to be with someone, to lead, to give and get love. So we are not wired to be alone. So it's not completely is you can't completely heal before you get into another, at least, but you must heal to a certain extent where you know that you are not going to bleed on somebody that did not hurt you and think that, oh, I'm going to do this bad to this person. It might not even be that person is the right person for you, but then you are bleeding on that person, you are hurting that person, and
there's only
it's not
so much that person will be able to take.
yes, and there's only so much, and then
I have a question.
wait, please.
I have a question.
And you know that when you've gone through trauma and you've healed yourself, when you now get into another relationship, there are some things you will not want to take.
You will not even settle.
You will not, because at the point that you have healed yourself, you have already set boundaries. You already know yourself. You know who you are. You know what you want. So if somebody is just and you just smell,
off key
because you owe it to yourself to heal.
And not to find yourself in that place.
Yes, you owe it to yourself to heal. You owe it to yourself to better yourself. So if I have bettered myself and then I'm not coming to you and you are not doing it, it's better for me to take a walk, because I'm not going to allow you to drag me back to where I'm coming from.
So I've said this before in our previous shows, and I'm going to say it again. In the case of Kaka, for those of you that don't know this story, Kaka was married. Kaka is a footballer, a Brazilian footballer. He's successful at that. He's married with kids. Well, the wife just came up and she was like, she wants a divorce. She cannot cope anymore. That he's too good of a husband. He provides and does everything that he's too good for her, that she doesn't want him, in quotes. So what's your advice for people like that? Because I'm very sure if I'm in Kaka's shoes, I'll be very confused if I do everything for a woman and then she's like, I am too good for her and she can't cope. What would you advise?
Heard when the doctor said that you love somebody in the way they want to be loved.
So you should be toxic.
No.
Please, can you increase your volume?
No, I feel like
no.
coming out to say, I don't even know who the Kaka person, I don't know the wife.
Exactly.
But if there are people that will come out and say, oh, my partner is too this, is too that, it doesn't work for me as a person.
It may work for somebody else.
It might work for somebody else. He might be perfect for another person. But as you have found yourself in a marriage and you want to make that marriage work, I don't have any experience whatsoever. But like, if you want to make that marriage work, what are the things that you feel like your partner is lacking, that he's making you feel like you cannot stay there, or because he's too good for you? What exactly? This way your communication comes in.
Exactly.
Because if it was that they were dating now, you could have said, oh, he's too good for me, let me leave. But I feel like children are already involved, and it's not like he has done anything bad to you whatsoever.
It might be temperamental.
If you want the relationship to be spiced up, or you maybe, I don't know, it's very crazy, because some women are like that. They're like, oh, you're so calm, you're so this.
Exactly.
And they don't want
it's
that.
temperament. That's what I'm saying.
They want somebody that
difference in temperament.
Women are fond of that thing. We can be on good terms for like 1 week straight, and I just want you to lose it, and I want to frustrate your life for you to raise your voice. Women, and something happens to us. I don't know what it is, but something happens to us and we're like that. So it could be.
Why are you giving this so that you are allowed to
you
talk?
You should talk now.
No, don't call me this one.
Why are you giving the ugly chance?
I always have
the ugly.
What's happening to my sleeves, guys? Like,
anyway, like I was saying, that could be a temperament thing, because
my composure is dropping.
On the surface, it might seem like, oh, this man is everything, he provides, and then he's calm, he's quiet, but it's not everybody that like calm man. It's temperament, but it might be what's this temperament? Flag. It might be that he's laid back and all that, and it's not everybody that like me. Some people like people who are. She saw him. Yeah, she saw him.
She said yes.
She had her faults now.
Yes, she saw him, but she might. Like I said, some people don't really think about this marriage thing very well before they get it. It's a forever thing. It's a forever contract. So if you know that this person, I cannot take this for the rest of my life, then it's better you just don't enter.
But do you think she's traumatized? Maybe she's used to like hostile relationships.
We wouldn't know unless she's tested.
We wouldn't know.
It could also be.
We wouldn't know. It could be, but then we wouldn't know.
It's only if she comes out to say it, but it could actually be that she's used to.
If she's coming from a place where the men are always, lording it over her, and so she might be used to. So she might feel like, oh, this one is too. And sometimes we like a little ginger. Now everything cannot just be.
You as a man, my brother, Dr. Pastor, do you have any advice for Kaka?
Leave Kaka alone.
How many times do you want to bring
Kaka? I don't know how many
Kaka
times you want to talk about Kaka.
The conclusion
Will you go and marry the wife?
From my own end, I'll just give you a rundown from childhood to adults. So for parents, I think every parent should be invested and particular about the training of their children, be
Male
male
or female.
or female. Teach your children to be emotionally intelligent. Teach your children to speak up. If anything, like create a conducive environment for them to be able to
Yeah,
have
come to you.
conversations with you. It curbs certain excesses, it curbs abuses, it curbs trauma in childhood. So we as adults, when it comes to social media, we should be responsible and be able to stand by whatever we put out. Because some of the things you say, some of the things you put out might affect the other person, be it a child, be it an adult, negatively. So now, as adults or as young people going into relationships, I think first we should work on ourselves first, like personal self-development, that's first. Then being intentional about your relationship. When you eventually get into a relationship, try and understand the other person. Learn to love the person the way the person wants to be loved, or the way the person understands to be loved. Then also be patient with your partner. You can work things out. And even when you can't, for those that are religious, you can go to God, you can go to Allah, whatever you serve, like be it religious, be it traditional, be it Muslim. I think there should be a space or an environment or a conducive environment for a supernatural being. I think it kind of makes everything better. Like it kind of, what's the word to use? It shall makes everything make sense. If you're a religious person, go to God, or whatever you call God, be it a traditional worshiper, or go to God in prayers, and that should help. But you should, what I'm saying, like, I put that last because you should have done your homework first. You should have worked on yourself. You should have tried communicating. You should try and be open to learning and loving your partner how they should love. And I think that would make the world a better place if we all put
Do what is necessary.
do what is necessary.
And please, if you have experienced one trauma or the other, whether from your childhood or you are even still experiencing it, please seek help. Seek help and get healing, so that you do not bleed on those that did not hurt you. Do not bleed on innocent people. Work on yourself so that you can make whatever relationship you are going into again meaningful. It's not that you keep going through the same circle. And the interesting thing is that, when you're traumatized, sometimes you keep attracting the wrong set of people. You keep attracting those people that will keep traumatizing you, because there's something in you that has been wired wrongly. So you keep, even though you feel like you've been traumatized and this thing happened to you and you don't want it to happen again, or you want to heal and all that, you keep attracting that thing because that is what you are used to. So it's possible that you keep attracting the trauma until you work on yourself, you get help, you heal, you develop and all that. Then, you can be whole again, and then you can now go into meaningful relationships. So please, let's not spread the trauma. Any last words before we end? I can see that the ugly is itching.
I'm not itching. I was
Okay.
like,
Okay, I thought, you wanted to counter me as usual. So that will be all for today. I hope that we've done justice to this discussion. And if there's anything that we didn't mention or that you'd like us to know, please put it in the comments section. And also like this video and subscribe so that you can get notifications for our future videos. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles at the Eagle Online.
I love them.
Skenenwe.
You guys-
Skenenwe.
I love them.
Bye.
Bye.